Hey guys, welcome to GCT, where I read out the best stories on Reddit, so you don't have to. The funny, shocking, and satisfyingly juicy. Today's Crazy Karen Tuesday, where we encounter Karens in the wild. Entitled sister-in-law tries to take credit for a large cancer fundraiser donation. Our first story comes from the Entitled People subreddit, posted by ShyK33. So, for context, my mother has a friend that has terminal cancer. She got diagnosed about a year or so ago, and it recently went terminal. She only has a few months left. So, her friends and family decide to have a fundraiser in her honour to help cover medical, afterlife, and bucket list costs, as well as help out the family after she passes. This lady is an amazing person. Everyone in town knows and loves her. She's a hairdresser and has been doing my mum's hair for ages. My mum has been a big part of the planning and fundraising for this event. There's a handful of this woman's friends and family taking a hand in it. However, most of them live an hour or so away, so the businesses and people they're getting donations from are not from our town, and they don't know anyone. My mother took it upon herself to call damn near every business in town. Family-owned shops, restaurants, travel agencies, insurance agencies, and big places of employment, etc., as well as donations from the general public. She even got our local Walmart to donate. She's gotten everything from small items, gift cards, whole baskets, massages, discounts. She even got our local airport to donate 2 30-minute airplane rides around our country. And the latest place to donate was our bowling alley. The guy who runs and owns the place is amazing. He also coaches both our high school bowling teams. When my mum called, he said that he's gonna take a bit to think about what to donate because he wants to do something other than just a free ball or 2. He ended up ordering 2 new bowling balls and is donating them alongside 2 one-hour bowling parties for 10 ballers. Like a $400 donation overall at least. So anyway, he told her last week when he called to confirm what he's donating to call back in a week, today, to check if it's in and if she can come pick it up. She's been posting thanks on Facebook for the donations and telling everyone what they've donated to kind of give a peek into what the auction baskets will include. So she called today to see if it was in and if and when she can come pick it up. She was then informed that someone already did. My mum was not made aware that someone else was picking it up. She'd posted about the donation on Facebook, but only the friends and family group chat knew that she hadn't picked it up yet. She messaged them all, asking if one of them had grabbed it and forgotten to tell her, but they had no clue what she was talking about. We thought that maybe some jackwagon saw the post and decided to take it for themselves. I called the owner and asked if he knew who picked the stuff up, and he said Karen. He said that since she was family, he thought we'd sent her. My mum texted the group chat asking if anyone knew who she was. It turns out that she is the woman's husband's sister. This sister isn't involved in any of the group chats and hasn't attended any of the meetings regarding the fundraiser or the planning. The woman's daughter is in the group chat and is very active in the planning and the fundraising. She called her mum and asked if she'd heard from Karen, her sister-in-law, and if she'd seen the bowling balls or certificates. Her mum said that Karen had brought them to her home, saying that she'd gotten this huge donation from the bowling alley. None of the donations have been going to her house. We don't want to clutter up her house and cause her any more stress trying to help plan, so friends and family have been keeping the stuff at our houses until it's time for the fundraiser. So there's no other reason for her to take them to her house other than to take credit for it. I just don't understand why she would take it upon herself to go pick up this huge donation that she didn't take part in without telling my mother, the one who actually got the donation, that she didn't need to go pick it up because she had it covered. She took it straight to the woman's house without asking the group doing all the planning where we were storing all the donations, and she didn't tell anyone that she took it. She doesn't even live in our town. She lives 30 minutes away, so she had to go far out of her way to go pick this up. She took this to her sister-in-law's house, trying to take credit for this huge donation when she hasn't put in a lick of work into this fundraiser and left us worried that someone just took our donation and ran with it. This is super weird. That's so much effort to go to just to take the credit. Does anyone else think that she may have gone there to try and steal the donation? but they'd wanted proof of identification and relation to the group, so she panicked knowing that everyone would know that she took the donation. So instead of sealing the items, she just took them all to her sister-in-law's place to try and cover up her real intentions. Dental appointment. Posted by Big Blackberry 9363. Background. I recently left a job where the receptionist, let's call her Kate, didn't have a car and would walk home. As a result, at times, I'll drop her off, despite me living 5 minutes from work and her being 15 minutes away, out of goodwill. A couple of weeks ago, Kate messaged me with some small talk and I thought, oh sweet, she wants to keep in contact. She then told me that she needs a filling and wanted an appointment with my SO, who's a dentist. UK-based NHS patients not accepted. So I spoke to my SO, who said he was completely booked up and also works really far away. He questioned how Kate was going to get there. Despite this, she insisted that she wanted to be seen and would take the train. She asked how much he'd charge for a filling, and I foolishly said to not worry about it. I earn more, and my husband was happy to do a small job. I told her my SO was completely booked up. For the past few weeks now, she's been harassing me for an appointment. I tried to tell her I'm not in control of the books. She then started to complain about her teeth hurting, and at this point, I told her she needs to consult an emergency dentist. She said there's a waiting list to which she's applied and is desperate. She didn't ask about the cost of this. I spoke to my SO and he said he could stay behind on a Friday with his nurse, but Kate would have to be there on time. I informed her and she said great, and made it seem as though her teeth hurting was my problem. Kate then messaged me saying I'll try my best to get there for the intended time. I tried to make it clear that she had to be there on time as people were staying behind for her, and she didn't seem to understand. When I mentioned this to my SO, he told me perhaps I should drive Kate the hour to and from the dental practice because he couldn't afford to have a late patient. I told him that's not my problem, but also felt bad for having put an extra case on his list. I said I'd offer, bad mistake I know, and when I asked Kate if she needed a lift, she jumped on the offer and demanded to be picked up at a certain time, to which I said no, I'd collect her at a time that suited me. I collected Kate from her home during rush hour and found myself apologising for the traffic and getting stressed out while she sat in my car without a single thank you. We got to the appointment on time and my husband successfully x-rayed and removed her tooth as it was completely eroded and close to infection. She got up, thanked him, and we left. She didn't even offer to pay. My husband is also the awkward type and was only going to charge her £20 for the cost of the nurse staying behind. Emergency private tooth removals cost 10 times that and above. When we were back in the car, this woman had the audacity to tell me that my husband gave her free treatment. I corrected her and said I'll let her know of the cost, seeing as this was a different treatment plan and one he had to fit in after hours, to which she begrudgingly agreed to. We were stuck in traffic and I was getting annoyed. I passively aggressively mentioned how this was not the way I wanted to spend my Friday evening. Her response, you me both. I mentioned how my husband did me a favour, to which she responds, to me too. It transpires that she hasn't even approached an NHS dentist. Once I dropped her off, not a single thank you was said. I spoke to my husband and we decided to invoice her for £45. She was still getting a bargain, but I also felt bad as I know that £45 is a lot of money for a personal receptionist salary. She responded saying she'll pay my SO by the end of the week when it's payday. The nature of the message just made me feel like a baddie. Am I the effing problem here? Honestly, just drop her after this. Why are you still chauffeuring her around? I once had a landlord. Our last story comes from the PettyRevenge subreddit. Posted by Upset Patchy Dam. This guy was the slummiest of slumlords I've ever had the displeasure of renting from. About 2 months in, he stopped paying for the garbage service, so I started paying. Come winter, we found out that the roof of this old Victorian house leaked. Our many complaints were met with silence. So, for a couple of months, we just used strategically placed buckets to deal with the problem. I mean, we were poor and it was cheap housing. Now this is Portland, Oregon, so the rainy season is about 6 months long, and it gets worse after the first couple of months. Anyway, one day I was in the kitchen making lunch when the heavily soaked ceiling caved in, barely missing me and my toddler. Oh no, messing with me is one thing, but endanger my kid? And Mama Bear comes out. So, without even cleaning up the mess, I holstered the kid and went to the library to look up the law. I then wrote a letter from your lawyer type letter, citing the laws, regulations and so forth, concluding with, if this is not being repaired by Monday, I will file suit. I then dropped it in his mail slot. This was on a Thursday. By Saturday, he had someone working on it. But we were still pissed. So I cancelled our waste collection. This house had a dirt basement of no particular utility, except for housing the partially operational water heater, the bottom coil was out, and the 1940s era oil furnace. We double bagged our garbage and started putting the bags in the basement. It didn't smell at all. By the time we vacated, the entire basement floor was tiled with double bagged garbage. I still get a smile imagining his reaction. Remember, I post new content every day, so subscribe for more juicy tea.